Are we live? Are we recording? Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial today. Today I'm going to do a very quick one, a very quick tutorial. We're going to be talking about HTML. We're going to be talking about HTML structures. We're going to be talking about tags and what are tags. We're going to talk about elements. So at the end of today, you're going to learn about HTML structure, and you're going to learn how to add your tags and elements into your HTML page. So before we go further, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ogbonna Ebuka, and I will be taking you on this tutorial today. So without wasting much of your time, we're just going to dive into it right now. So firstly, we're going to talk about HTML structure. And when I say structure, I mean how structure is important when you're writing your HTML pages. Okay, so what you need to always remember is that your HTML page is just a text document. Okay, your HTML page is just a text document. So for us to understand what structure is, I'm going to talk about one document that I know that every one of us have seen, and that is the newspaper. And so I have a newspaper here, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is the Houston Chronicle newspaper. It is a type of document. Now, as you can see, this newspaper has a heading. Okay, it has a headline, which is this. This is missed but not forgetting. This is another headline. These are headlines. The newspaper has headlines, there are text, and there are also images. So the headline, as you can see here, the text, and even its images all come together to form a structure for this document, which is a newspaper. Okay? This structure helps us, which is the readers or the users, helps us to understand the flow of the content. Okay? Now, the use of headlines, as you see here, and subheadlines often reflect the hierarchy of information. So this is the major headline. Okay, this is the main headline. This can be a subheadline, and then this is the content of the newspaper. As you can see here, there are also images added into it. The images are also part of the structure. They are not scattered everywhere. You don't see one up top, one bottom, one side, the text on one side. Everything is well structured so that when you're going through this page, you can easily understand what is going on here instead of looking up and down and wondering why did they put the text here and then there's an image here. Okay, now we're going to look at a newspaper, but this time around the newspaper is in the digital form. Okay, so now this is still a newspaper. As you can see, it still has a heading, it has a subheading, it has some text, and it has some images, but now it's in the digital form. And when you see things like this in digital form, it is usually as a result of HTML. So just as documents have structure to help users understand what's going on, okay, that's the same way the structure also applies when you're writing your HTML web pages. Now let's go back to our code. Now, I believe that for you to be here, you understand what HTML means. That means HTML means hypertext markup language. Okay, hypertext because HTML allows you to create links. Okay, that allows you to create links, which then allows your visitors, okay, to move from one page to another. So you have a page, you have a website about fruits, okay, but then you want to move to the next page where you talk about a specific type of fruit. So because it's an hypertext page, you can actually put a link there that will link to the other page that you want to open. So it's also called a markup language because you can actually annotate the text, meaning you can edit the text, meaning you can manipulate the text, meaning you can do some amazing things with the text. Okay, remember we said that HTML pages are simply text documents. So the element actually helps us, elements or the tags actually helps us, uh, with the structure. Okay, it helps us with the structure. So simply put, HTML element helps us with the structure of the page. Actually helps us to describe the structure of the page. So right now we're going to move into HTML elements and tags. So tags, HTML tags, or some people call it elements, actually they act like containers. Okay, as you can actually see on the screen here, we have in the blue, okay, on my code editor right here. I don't know if you don't have a code editor, you should download one. I am using Visual Studio Code, also called VS Code. So there are other code editors out there like Atom, there's Sublime Text. So you could actually use any of them. And I also know that you also have your browser available, because without your browser you won't be able to view any of your HTML pages properly. So as you can see here, right here on my screen, the the blue the blue represents our tags, while the white represents our text. Okay, the blue represents the tags, while the white represents the text. Now, like we said earlier, HTML describes the structure of your page, and it actually does this using elements or tags. Now, if you look at our code carefully, now this is really an introduction into all this, so you don't really need to understand everything that's going on here, but just pay attention so so you can grasp it, because this is the foundational part. Okay, like I also mentioned, okay, tags are like containers. Okay, they tell us something about the information, okay, that lies between the tags. Okay, they tell us something about the information that lies between the tags. So this is a tag. Like I told you, the one in blue, our HTML code, or we call them HTML tags, or our HTML elements. Okay, they are the ones in blue. So they actually give us more info about the content that is in between them. So something that you should always understand about tags is that tags usually come in pairs. Okay, you could see that there's this one here and there's also another one here. There's one here and there's another one here. So let me put h1. So I'm using a tool in VS Code called MS. MS helps you with some auto imputing of these tags. It helps you with auto completing this tag, so it's very, very easy for you to write your code. So I'm going to use an H1 here, and we're going to see that it comes in pairs. Just look at it. It came H1, there's the first one, and then there's the second one. Now, if we look between them, this is what we call our opening tag. Okay, this is what we call our opening tag, and this is what we call the closing tag. Now you can see that this opening tag, what it is just a lesser than sign. Okay, then we have a character inside, and then a greater than sign covering it. Okay, same goes for the closing tag. It has a lesser than sign and a greater than sign, and then the character. But the difference between the opening tag and the closing tag is that the closing tag has a slash before the character. Okay, what the opening tag does is that it tells us that this is the beginning of a piece of content, while the closing tag tells us that this is the end of the piece of content. As you can already see, this particular hello world here, this is an H5. It starts here and ends here, just like this starts here and goes and ends here. So this is actually dummy text, low rem text. You can also get them when you have your VS Code installed. All you just need to type is, let's create one. Let's create some dummy text here. All you need to write is low rem, okay? And if you want 12 text, okay, let's do 7. So let's type lorem 7 and press enter. So we have 7 dummy texts that we can use to test our HTML element or any maybe if you're writing any document and then you need text to use to fill your document, so you can actually use this dummy text. So now I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm going to save this. So depending on the machine that you have on, so I have a Mac here, so it's Command S. That's a shortcut for it. Or I could easily go to File and then click on Save. If you have a Windows PC, it's Control S. Okay, so always save your work. Always save your document. You don't want it to get lost. Always save it. You might write like 500 lines of code, and because you didn't save, you have to start writing again. So I don't want you to go through that. So always save your work. And one good thing about using a text editor like VS Code is that it has a feature called Live Server. Live Server. So Live Server, what Live Server does is that as you coding on your page, you can actually see you can actually see how it's rendering on your browser immediately. So the changes are coming immediately as you're saving. The changes are coming. So we're going to be seeing. So let's use this one as an example right now. So I'm going to activate Live Server. Okay, so you can see it here. Open with Live Server. Right click. Open with Live Server. So now it's going to take me to my browser, and here we have all our documents. So everything we'll be writing in this page. So this is actually it. This was the last text that we wrote. You can see that it's very, very bold. Okay, that is because we are using an H1, element. So this is what an H1 element does to your text. Now, finally, let's talk about character. Okay. Now, as you can see from let's do another one. Okay. Let's do a H2. Okay. So with this H2 now, you can see that H2 is a character. Okay. It's a character. So what that actually does for us is that it indicates the purpose of the tag. Okay, indicates the purpose of the tag. For instance, this one that we have here, okay, is a P tag, and the P tag tells us that this text here should be a paragraph. Okay, and H1 tells us that the text in between should be a heading 1. It should be a bigger heading, and that's how it goes. So this is the body tag, okay, which signifies that everything around this particular page is going to be in our HTML document body. Okay, so guys, that is pretty much it for today. It's a really, really quick lesson. Like I said, we're going to, like I told you before, HTML pages are simply text documents. Okay, HTML pages are simply text documents. So I just want to do a quick recap of everything that we've gone through today. I know it's been a very, very quick one, but a quick recap. First things first, HTML documents are HTML pages. Number one, HTML pages are text documents. And like every other text document that you see there, whether it's a newspaper, whether it's a form, okay, they all have structure. Okay, they all have structure. They have a way that you have to align them well so that it is easy for the readers to understand, so that they can grasp that information quickly. You know, that is why you have it's just having your newspaper document. Okay, now we are now creating a web page out of it. So we need to also use the same structure that we use, okay, and then put it into a web form. So that's why we use HTML pages. Okay, now HTML uses tags to give information, okay, that surround meaning. Okay, they use the tags. HTML uses tags to surround information, to give information that surround the meaning. Okay, and tags are often referred to as elements. Okay, tags are often referred to as elements. And as you can also see here, tags, they come in pairs. There's an opening tag, okay, there's a closing tag, and then there's also a character. The character tells us what is going on here. What are we going to do with this text? What does this text represent? Okay, so if you put an H2, it's telling that, hey, this is an heading 2. This text, the text between the opening and closing tag is an heading 2. If it's a P, okay, then it's gonna be a paragraph. So the thing here is for you to actually understand these HTML tags or elements, as you would call it, the right ones that you should use and when you should use them. You should not use a P tag when you need to create a headline. It's like visually it's not going to appear well, it's not going to look well, and even if like people actually use things like screen readers, and when they're reading it out to them, it won't have it won't just be the same, okay? It won't just be the same. So you should know you should know the elements and tags, you should know where they are going to, you should know their use, and you should know their purpose. Okay, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure doing this today. Remember, I am Ogbonna Patrick Ebuka, and I will definitely, surely see you one day. Definitely see you some other time. So have a great evening, have a great day, and stay blessed. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna end the recording now. Yeah. So